Hi everyone, it's Happy Nuts and welcome to my channel Happy Nuts Lives and Adventure in the United States. In my most previous video, I shared to you our experience during our adjustment status or green card interview, and I also shared to you the final words of the interviewing officer, and he said that he couldn't make a final decision yet because he wasn't sure if I needed another medical examination, if I needed to submit another medical examination result, because he said, according to him, that during the interview a day before that, he said that he was just reading some changes, new rules for K1 visa holders, so he couldn't make a decision yet. He has to confirm before he can make a final decision. And a day after the interview, I checked my case online, and it only says that interview was completed and my case must be reviewed. So the only thing that I can do now is to wait for the notification for the instructions, because the interviewing officer said that in case I need to submit another medical examination result, they would notify me. But he said that I have to wait for the notification or for the letter before I will make a move. So I'm still waiting. And I'm doing research about the medical examination, and I found this on the Chapter 4 Review of Medical Examination Documentation. And on number 4, it talks about the validity period of Form I-6693, and it says, there is a part that says, Form I-693 submitted to USCIS before November 1, 2018. When we submitted our FAS for adjustment status, my medical examination result that had been done in South Korea had not expired yet, and we submitted our FAS September 2019, and that was 6 months after my medical examination in South Korea. But it says here that in 2018, the USCIS revised its policy regarding the extent to which a Form I-693 retains its evidentiary value. This policy is effective November 1, 2018. Before November 1, 2018, the validity period policy provided from I-693 retained its evidentiary value as long as it was submitted to the USCIS within 1 year of the civil surgeon's signature, and USCIS issued a final decision on the underlying immigration benefit application within a year of the Form I-693's submission to the USCIS. This policy contained a maximum 2-year period during which Form I-693 retained its evidentiary value. Due to increasing caseloads and more complex adjudications, USCIS observed an increasing number of cases where benefit applications could not be decided within 1 year from the date the Form I-693 was submitted. In these cases, USCIS would have to request a new Form I-693, further delaying the processing of the underlying application and inconveniencing the applicant. So based on my understanding of this part about the medical examination documentation, I think I need to do another medical examination and submit the result to the USCIS, because although we filed our documents, we sent out our documents for adjustment status within a year before my medical examination result expired. It's already been 2 years because we submitted our documents on September 2019, and I only had the interview 2 days ago on November 16, 2021. So it has been more than 2 years. So I think I need to submit another medical examination, the Form I-693. But again, as the officer said, I still need to wait for their notification, for their instructions before I will make a move. So the interview went well, except for the medical examination result. But again, I will give you an update about that if I need to submit another medical exam result. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I invite you to subscribe so that you will get an update about my medical examination results, especially if you are still waiting for your adjustment status. Well, anyway, today in this video, we are going to continue to talk about documents that the USCIS required us to bring during the interview. And I have with me the letter. So this is the letter, the notification letter from the USCIS. And I have here the list of all the documents that they required to bring, but some of the documents they already have them. So I did not reproduce all those documents, and I'm going to talk to you later about the documents that we brought. But this time I'm going to read this letter with the list of all the documents that they required, applicants. The USCIS requires the applicants to bring during the interviews. So number one is this interview notice. So you have to bring this interview notice because this is your appointment letter. So you have to present this during the interview because they won't let you in the building if you don't have this interview notice. So this is number one, interview notice. And another one is a government issued photo ID. So I presented them my EAD, my work permit, temporary work permit, because that is the only ID that I have. If you have a driver's license, you can bring your driver's license because they asked about my driver's license. And because I'm not driving yet, since I'm not driving yet, I don't have any driver's license, so I could only use my temporary work permit ID. Another one is a required completed form I-693. So again, I wasn't sure if I needed to submit another I-693, and we already talked about that earlier. So but maybe you can already, if you are still waiting for your adjustment status and you want to make sure, maybe you can already do your medical examination again to make sure and report. So that is the form I-693, the report of medical examination and vaccination record, vaccination supplement in a sealed envelope. Next one is, if required, a completed form I-864, Affidavit of Support with all required evidence unless already submitted. So we did not reproduce this form because we already submitted them. Required evidence for each of your sponsors includes, but is not limited to, the following. So for me, my sponsor is my husband. Federal income tax returns and W-2s or seal or certified IRS printouts for the most recent tax year. Letters from each current employer verifying current rate of pay and average weekly hours and pay stubs for the past 2 months. Evidence of your sponsors and co-sponsors' United States citizenship or lawful permanent resident status. All documentation establishing your eligibility for lawful permanent resident status. This includes, but is not limited to, proof of status as an asylee, refugee, or a fiancé non-immigrant. Any immigrant-related documentation ever issued to you, including any Form I-766, Employment Authorization Document, EAD, Form I-512, Authorization for Advanced Parole, and Form I-571, Refugee Travel Document. Next is all travel documents used to enter the United States, including passports, Form I-512, Authorization for Advanced Parole, Form I-571, Refugee Travel Document, and Form I-94, that is the Arrival Departure Record. Your birth certificate. If your Form I-485 is based on a petition filed by a family member, your petitioner's birth certificate and your petitioner's evidence of United States citizenship or lawful permanent resident status. If you have children, bring a birth certificate for each item. If your eligibility is based on your marriage, in addition to your spouse coming to the interview with you, bring a certified copy of your marriage document issued by the appropriate civil authority, your spouse's birth certificate, your spouse's evidence of United States citizenship or lawful permanent resident status. If either you or your spouse were ever married before, all divorce decrees, death certificates for each prior marriage, birth certificates for all children of this marriage, and custody papers for your children and for your spouse's children not living with you. Supporting evidence of your relationship, such as copies of any documentation regarding joint assets or liabilities you and your spouse may have together. This may include tax returns, bank statements, insurance documents, car, life, health, property documents like car, house, etc., rental agreements, utility bills, credit cards, contracts, leases, photos, correspondence, and or any other documents you feel may substantiate your relationship. Next, the originals and copies of each supporting document that you submitted with your application. Otherwise, we may keep your originals for our records. If you have ever been arrested, bring the related police report and the original or certified final court disposition for each arrest, even if the charges have been dismissed or expunged. If no court records available, bring a letter from the court with jurisdiction indicating this, a certified English translation for each foreign language document. The translator must certify they are fluent in both languages and that the translation in its entirety is complete and accurate. So these are the documents that the USCIS is asking you to bring on your adjustment of status or green card interview. But some of these documents may not apply. It depends on your visa. Like for me, I came here on a Q1 fiancé visa, and so some of these do not apply. So the documents that we brought with us during the interview are the following. I actually brought all these file folders with us during the interview. I have this files, I have a separate folder for all the documents that they asked me to bring, and this is my husband's folder. So first, we only brought with us this notification, this interview letter. Another one is we did not bring a medical examination. Again, as I already told you, I did not redo my medical exam, and we are still waiting for the instructions if I need to submit another medical examination report. And I did not also bring another form I-A64 because they already have it. We already submitted it. Another document that we brought with us are our W-2s, my W-2 and my husband's W-2, federal income tax return for the most recent year. So we brought this with us, but the officer just looked at it and then he gave it back to us. And letters from each current employer. We have a letter from each current employer. So if you are working, you need to ask your employer to write you a letter. And this is the letter that my employer wrote for me. And I also have my husband's employer's letter. My sponsors, co-sponsors, United States citizenship. So my husband brought with him his driver's license, his passport, his birth certificate, the originals, and the photocopies. Again, I also brought with me the EAD. I photocopied my EAD, my passport, the photocopy, and the original passport, my I-94 travel document, my arrival departure in the United States, my birth certificate, a photocopy of my birth certificate. They already have this. So all this I-94, the birth certificate, the copy of passport, they already have this. The marriage certificate, although they already have this. Also brought with us our insurance. I have the health insurance, our joint bank account statement, utility bill, the electric bill. We also brought with us this folder. These are the plane tickets, travel tickets, movie tickets, show tickets, all the shows that we've watched together, and all the birthday cards, anniversary cards, Christmas cards from both of us and from our parents. But I forgot to show it to them. The officer did not ask for them anyway. I also brought with me this, but this was before I already prepared. I already used this before during my K1 fiancé visa interview in South Korea, but I did not show it to the interviewing officer during the adjustment of status interview. And I also have this photo album. Again, I already used this during our interview in South Korea, but the officer did not ask for this. But I have some photos that we brought with us. So I printed the most recent photos that we have here together in the United States. But the interviewing officer only asked for one page that has 4 photos, the most recent photos that we took together. We also presented our pension plan, and he got the copy of our pension plan and our most recent pay stubs, two most recent pay stubs. So if you are working, you can bring your pay stubs. So again, the documents that they mentioned here on this letter, the supporting evidence of your relationship. So you can bring with you photos, you can bring with you all your joint assets, bank statements, everything that you think would support your relationship. And during the interview, it depends on the officer if you would ask for that, or so just bring them with you, anything that you think would support your relationship, because they want to know if you have a genuine relationship and you are not here in the United States for the sake of obtaining green card, and then later on you will divorce your spouse. So those are the documents that the USCIS asked us to bring to the interview, and documents that we actually brought with us during our interview. If you have comments, questions, and suggestions, please comment them down below. And again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I invite you to subscribe so that you will get update, especially about the medical exam. If you are still waiting for your adjustment status and you haven't done your medical examination in the US yet, so I can give you an update about that. And again, pray for me because I'm still waiting for the final decision if I get my green card or not. So this is all for now, and I'll see you again on my next videos. Bye bye.